So what skill are we covering today? Well, the 3 keys to defensive body positioning. As a defender, you want your body positioning to be angled. You never want to have your hips pointed, also known as squared, at the attacker completely, because then it allows the attacker to go to the right of you, to the left of you, and between your legs. You want to be angled but not entirely turned to the side. Position one of your sides so it faces the attacker, but still at a diagonal. If your feet were hands on a clock, you would want your feet positioned at either 10 and 4, as shown in the first image, or 8 and 2, as shown in the second image. So now, when defending, as I mentioned before, we either want to be at 10 and 4 or 8 and 2 in order to push that attacking player. However, we don't want to stand directly in front of the ball, because if I just turn my hips like this, a good attacker is going to attack the other side because I'm not actually forcing that attacker in one direction. So what we've got to consider is that we've got to be slightly angled either to one side or the other of that defender. So if I want to push them to the right, I want to be angled at 8 and 2 so that I'm slightly off to the side and I'm taking away the direction to their left foot and I'm forcing them to the right. Otherwise, I want to be at 10 and 4, slightly to this side, and I want to be able to push them to that left foot. All right, so let's discuss the 3 things that an attacking player wants to do. First, they're likely going to want to do a foot skill to get you going in the wrong direction so they can open up space in the direction they actually want to go. The second thing they want to do is attack with speed. This foot skill just is to get you off balance as a defender, but the speed is to blow by you so they don't have to beat you again during that run. The last thing they ideally want to do is to get to their dominant foot. They want to be on their right foot if they're right-footed, and they want to be taking that shot on their left foot if they're left-footed. So that first thing they want to do is use a foot skill. The best way to prevent them from using a foot skill is to prevent them from getting the ball altogether. If you're able to be very, very diligent about marking them well and cutting off passing lanes, or even when they receive it, being so tight to them that they just want to pass it to someone else, you're going to prevent them from using that foot skill. Secondly, say they get to that foot skill, they get to use it, and now they're trying to blow by you with speed. These are the situations, and we've talked about in a previous video, that you want to be a little bit handsy. You want to be putting your arms against them. You want to be slowing them down. And I'm not saying to do this inside your box. You generally want your hands behind you in the box, but outside of that, it's okay if you're a little more physical and a little more forceful, because even if you get a foul, it's not the end of the world. And number 3, they're likely going to want to be able to shoot with their dominant foot. Now, a 1v1 situation is something that we'll be covering here shortly, but as a soccer player, keep something in mind, that the more you can force them to shoot with their opposite foot, the better chance you're going to have at being able to have your goalkeeper stop it, for it to be a bad shot, or for you to even get a deflection on it. So try to figure out exactly what that opposite foot is for them and push them to it more times than not. So a question for you: when you're defending in a 1v1, do you usually push them towards their weak foot? Comment yes below if you normally push them towards their weak foot in a 1v1, or comment no if you don't really think about that. All right, so now let's discuss some things that we want to avoid as a soccer player in a 1v1. We want to avoid being directly in front of them, and especially square, because they can go to the right, to the left, or even through our legs. The second thing that we want to avoid, and it's very important to understand this, is we don't want to just try to run with them. If we're just trying to run with them, they're going to keep turning us back and forth, making us look silly, and you're going to be kind of dizzy afterwards. Now, to practice this, have a teammate or a friend go to the field with you, and working only inside the 6-yard box, have them attack and try to get by you as you position your body to push them to either side, force them out of bounds, and really work on that defensive body stance. If you want to learn more about how to be the best defender in the league, then grab the 5th book in the Understand Soccer series, Soccer Defending, today on Amazon.com using the link. All right, for that pro tip that I promised, how do you determine which foot they are? Well, until they actually show you that they can shoot with either foot, assume that it's the right foot. 90% of the population is right-footed and right-handed, so you're safe to assume that they're right-footed until they prove you otherwise. All right, so Soccer Squad, let me know if you have any feedback on how I can make these videos better, or any suggestions for videos that you'd like me to shoot in the future. And if you could, hit that like button, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell icon in order to ensure that you don't miss any upcoming videos and you're always building your soccer confidence.